Ah, that was so good.
It's showtime, folks.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Into the Music. How's everyone out there today? I'm doing okay, and I have a song request that was given to me by Finbar on my KoFi site. And Finbar, you say that after hearing your Velvet Underground reaction, I felt that you needed to hear this. The track is Revolution by Spacemen 3. This is from their 1988 album, Playing with Fire. 1988. So they really go back that far. Okay. Because I know that Jason Pierce, who is Spaceman, uh, is he Spaceman 3 or something like that? So Jason then started Spiritualized. So yeah, but I don't know. There's one song that I know from this band, and I was going to give it to Andy. So it's on a list. I'm not going to reveal what that song is, but that's kind of really all I know. This track is a good starting point for their stuff. Cool. Maybe react to this video, and so I have it all lined up and ready to go. So here we go. Revolution by Spacemen 3. Ah, that was so good. Just focusing on just guitar strums like that, how fascinating that was. I mean, just the tone of the guitar and the whole thing, it just absolutely had me like with every single strum. That's brilliant. Like, what is he doing different than anything else that I've heard before? Like something similar with guitar strums. I don't know, but it was riveting.
Of a lot of people.
That's cool.
A lot of high places. Don't want you and me. Enjoy ourselves. Well, I'm through with people get off their ass to help themselves change this government, better society. I smell burning. And I see a change coming round the bend. And I suggest to you that it takes just 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds of decision to realize that the time is right to start thinking about a little revolution. Bass. That flew by. Wow. So I'm going to check out the lyrics. I just pulled them up from Genius, so I'll get into them in a few minutes and see how much like a revolution that they're talking about. I heard certain things. There was actually one line where he sings, "I'm tired. I smell something burning. I sense a change coming around." I think that's what he had sung. And then later, it'll take just 5 seconds of decision. The time is right to start thinking about a little revolution. So, yeah. So is he talking about revolution, political change? I mean, usually that's kind of what you're talking about. But is a revolution within his life? Revolution. I mean, I was hearing him say something like, don't tell me what to do and all that. So, revolution, kind of breaking free from home, sort of, sort of branching out into life, being a young man. That's a revolution within his own life, or is it kind of more of a serious sort of revolution? We're tired of sort of playing this game. The way things are set up, stacked against us, the whole thing, revolution. It's about to start happening now. So you can relate to that in today's world. And of course, revolution has happened in so many different places of the world over the years. Some good, a lot bad, but it's interesting. Again, just the title and the meaning that that could bring. So we'll get into the lyrics. I was also thinking too that my comments at the very end, right before I jumped on here on this side, it could even be a revolution within for that song. I mean, back in 1988, I'm just imagining what was the 80s were not a good year, a good decade of music for me. Not really. I mean, in one sense, it was because it's really where I branched out. I kind of shook the whole sort of classic rock stuff, off of myself. I was so wrapped up in Beatles and then Led Zeppelin and The Who and everything sort of, kind of wrapped in there.
60s music, everything in the past. And then when new wave started to hit here in the United States, really through college radio stations, it was a revelation for me. It really was. And I was gravitating to a lot of that. So in one sense, that was good. But you got to understand too, what was being played on the radio, though, aside from the college radio stations. I mean, you go to, anywhere, just in your car or, at a store, or just whatever. It was just this 80s, this very sort of manufactured, uh, just kind of what, I mean, the sound of the drums and this and that. It was just that 80s sound, these pop songs. And I hated it. I warmed up a little bit, over the years, but it's still not my favorite. Um, Not my favorite decade. But that said, so this song, this is freaking dynamite, like dynamite. And all they're doing is they're amping up their guitars and they put like a psychedelic effect to it. And it's like and they do that from for like 5 minutes or so. So how to make that sound interesting? Well, again, you really amp up the guitar, and again, like the distortion sound. You know how to play it, and also it's that touch, right? It's how you're playing it, how you're strumming it, which is the amazing thing about music, right? Someone else could be strumming that and it wouldn't sound so good, but they're putting everything into, hitting those strumming that guitar. Um, so it's got that sound, and you got the bass that's doing this do 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 do, kind of like going up and down, almost like a roller coaster of bass notes that I'm hearing as that guitar, rhythm guitar, that strum just keeps going and going and going, and it just doesn't stop. And you think it might slow down a little bit, kind of like almost like sort of takes a break a little bit. You're still hearing it, but and then it goes back again. So think about like, I don't know, revolution within just how to make a song like that, where you're just doing sort of one chord and just beginning to end of strumming, and yet make it sound so interesting. And they did. Um, they, it's just, yeah. And it's really cool, knowing that uh, Spaceman, which is actually J Spaceman. I had said Spaceman 3. Why would he be known as Spaceman 3 if that was the name of the band? So after I got off and I pulled the information, it's J Spaceman, which is Jason Pierce. And then he would go on to start Spiritualized. So he definitely had a sound, and something that he picked up, just continued on with Spiritualized. And just this real kind of space rock. I guess there was space rock before Spaceman 3, but um, I think, who knows, did they sort of find it, discover it? But yeah, it's also like a psychedelic rock, um, definitely alternative rock, but definitely, yeah, there's like a spaciness and a psychedelic. Um, yeah, and that's sort of, it's kind of interesting that also he names it Revolution, because in Spiritualized, there's a song called Come Together. And it's really interesting. So how uh Jason, and I guess with this band, it's just not him, but he's naming these songs like you have the Beatles songs. And yet, putting a whole new spin, like a completely different songs, of course, but it's just really almost like the ballsiness, to name songs that were already named, and classic Beatles songs. And then he's saying, hey, man, I got a song called Come Together. I got a song called Revolution, and it's just as interesting. So, um, yeah, this is great. And you also got that Velvet Underground feel. So, Finbar, it makes sense that you had said in your request that with the Velvet Underground reaction that we did just like a week or so ago, that this would sort of make you think about this. Absolutely. Oh, and in the video too, they had that Velvet Underground sort of look with the sunglasses. I was even thinking like John Lennon, like the Rubber Soul days, where he was sporting like those very kind of reddish tinted kind of sunglasses, and with the hair and everything else like that. Yeah. So just the whole look and everything else. Um, yeah, this is a great listen. This is good. I need to get into. There's one song again that I'm going to give Andy, um, from this band, because I think John knows this band and knows that song. With that said, let me get into the band.
and from Rugby Walk, Warwickshire, England. I probably butchered that. English neo psychedelia space rock band. That's how Wiki describes them. Formed in 1982 by Peter Kember and Jason Pierce, known both respectively under their pseudonyms Sonic Boom and J Spaceman. Okay, their music is known for its brand of trance-like neo psychedelia, consistent of heavily distorted guitar, synthesizers, and minimal chord or tempo changes. Following their debut album, Sound and Confusion, I guess 1988, right? So, My Bloody Valentine is putting out an album around that time too. So, I mean, two bands, both with like distorted guitar as their sort of major sort of signature calling card thing, but different sounds. Just different sounds. Yeah, you know, where I think My Bloody Valentine sort of saturated their sound with the distortion, and where Spaceman 3 and then Spiritualized is kind of using it as a tool, but like one of many. That's kind of how I describe it. Interesting though, but definitely at the forefront. That really distorted guitar, synthesizers and minimal chord tempo changes. Yeah. Um, I didn't hear so much synthesizers, not on this one. This was just straightforward. This one was hard. Like psychedelia. Um, and when you talk about space rock and psychedelic kind of music, it definitely evokes like, a lot of space, openness and everything else. This one, you got the psychedelia thing, and um, I don't know about so much. This thing was hard. It was just driving, and those strums were just like hitting you, hitting you, hitting you. So this was kind of it was a little bit off the beaten path when it comes to psychedelic music, because it was kind of hard. Um, yeah, that's the way I kind of felt. Minimal chord or tempo changes. This was like one straight chord. So they had a debut album, Sound of Confusion, in '86, and then Perfect Prescription, '87, Playing with Fire in 1989. And so I think this is 1989, Playing with Fire. I believe this song is on that album. At least that's what Finbar had said. Then they disbanded shortly afterwards, releasing their final studio album, Recurrent, post-split in 1991. And they gained a reputation as a drug band due to the members' of drug-taking habits and Kemba's candid interviews and outspoken opinions on recreational drug use. Yeah, and I've done some spiritualized songs. Go check them out. You'll see them on our catalog. Uh, yeah, and I do talk about how Jay Spaceman's drug addiction, and I believe he's cleaned up now, but it took a long time. I think like within the last maybe 10 years, within the last 10 years, I think uh, that's when he turned it around. But think about so many years of drug use. A lot of people who really go that long, they don't come out on the other side. There's no other side. You know, but like in the ground. And so give him a lot of credit that he actually turned it around. I believe he was addicted to heroin. That's not easy to kick. So let me get into the lyrics here that I got pulled up. Genius.com. Well, I'm sick. I'm so sick of a lot of people trying to tell me what I can't or can't do with my life. All right. When I hear lyrics like that, it could be talking about someone young, um, sort of, it's really commented on authority, right? It could be parents, it could be teachers, it could be police, it could be all of them. Trying to tell him what to do with his life. And I'm so tired of a lot of people in a lot of high places who don't want you and me to enjoy ourselves. Well, I'm through with people who can't get up their ass to help themselves. That's what it says, can't get up their ass. I would think it's off their ass. I don't know. To help themselves change this government. Now he's talking about the government. Okay. And better society.
So hold on a second. I smell burning and I can see a change coming around the bend. And I suggest to you that it takes just 5 seconds, just 5 seconds. Yeah, he was kind of like at that point, he was kind of stretching it out a bit, right? And it was like a buildup, like, okay, building up again, building up again. We're going to get hit, but he's building up with these words here, just 5 seconds of decision to realize that the time is right to start thinking about a little revolution. And yeah, then the floodgates open up again with that hard driving guitar strumming, and the song's over. It's like 5 minutes and change. Yeah, I could have, yeah, it could have gone on a little bit more. Yeah, that bass though. And it's really interesting that at that time when it kind of went back into the strumming after the revolution lyric, uh, that bass was just up and down. I think it was doing some stuff like that too, similar, but not as pronounced in the beginning of the song, in the middle. But I think it was the end where it just jumped out at me. The bass was just crazy. It was so good. Yeah, this is a great listen. Yeah, this is going on a track list, playlist, whatever you want to call it. It's going on something that I'm going to go back to. I'm going back to this probably a lot. So yeah, hey, this just proves it. I mean, I really have been trying to stay away from this band because I really wanted to. I thought I'd give Andy that song that I know, and then open it up to the Into the Music audience to kind of feed me some songs. So it's just has taken me a while to get that song over to Andy, but I think with this one now, maybe it accelerates it now, and then we'll see. Hopefully, the floodgates open and get a lot of recommendations, and we go from there. I think John knows his band too. I believe so. So John, uh, yeah, you got to definitely lead us down the road a bit on this band with stuff that you know. And with that said, Finbar, thanks again. And to everyone out there, I hope you guys have a great, great day, great night. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see all of you in the next episode of Into the Music.